Hey guys, Tension here with another video. Let's get started right away. First, you need a template. I made one by tracing a picture of the gun. I usually cut one in the shape of the base and another one for the pieces that will go on top of the base. Let's start by constructing the base. Trace the base pattern onto foam and cut it out. I did this 3 times, 2 times with 10mm foam and 1 time with 5mm foam. The last one needs to be slightly modified by cutting off the back and making a cutout in the front and the top. I made the handles separately because of more efficient use of my phone, but you can also just make the whole base shape out of one piece. Once you are done cutting out all the pieces, it is time to glue the whole base together. Make sure you glue the correct side of your pieces by checking your reference. For the 5mm piece I added a cutout in the bottom. This is where the gun magazine will be fitted in. To more evenly spread the glue, you can use a piece of scrap foam. This will also reduce the dry time because it's a thinner layer. And that's it for the base. Now let's move on to the detailing. For the trigger guard and the trigger itself I used 10mm foam. Most pieces I Dremel afterwards, so I cut them out pretty roughly. The thing on top is actually a circle, so you can't really use this pattern for it. But using the diameter of the pattern, you can draw a circle and use that. Circles are pretty hard to cut out with a knife, so I do it very roughly here. The same goes for the tinier one on top. For these pieces I used 10mm foam again, but I put another 5mm on top of the small one. The pointer is also made out of 2 pieces of 10mm foam. Here I decided I wanted to do some dremeling first, even though I wasn't done with cutting out all the pieces yet. Since this was my first build, I didn't work that efficient. I rather work piece by piece, because I'm still trying to figure out what is the best way to build it. Some pieces like this one need a 45-degree angle, which can be easily made by the rotary tool. You can also add details to the pieces, like rivets and screws. I added a 5mm piece between the two 10mm pieces of the pointer and dremeled it into some kind of triangular shape. Instead of dremeling it inside the foam, you can also add it on top of the foam. Here I use 2mm foam to add a screw on top of the trigger guard. For the gun barrel I used a PVC pipe with 2mm foam around it. Here I start working on the sides. These all have to be made twice, but one of them has to be mirrored. This piece is actually quite hard to Dremel, so if you don't feel like Dremeling it, you can also just round off the edges and it will also look fine. Once you are done with cutting out all the pieces, you can start assembling it, and it will look something like this. If you are satisfied with all the pieces, you can start gluing it together. To attach the tube to the gun, it's best to make some holes so you can glue them in. To bend the PVC tube, you can use a lighter or a heat gun. I found the lighter easier because it's more concentrated in one spot. This piece is only for the black gun, so you don't have to make it for the other one. To complete the build, heat seal it with a heat gun. If you liked this video, then make sure to check out the next video, in which I will be painting it.